Well, we are going to further the conversation right now with two very well-known individuals. We have Reverend Mark Blue, who's the president of the Buffalo chapter of the NAACP. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And Chris Krieger, who is with Western New York Heroes, also a veteran. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We want to let our audience know, too, that they can join our conversation by going to WGRZ.com/vote and express their opinion as well.
Before we begin with our guests, we want to let you listen to what Buffalo Bill Lorenzo Alexander had to say yesterday as to why he took a knee.
Because the guys that are taking a knee are trying to bring awareness to some social injustice and inequalities that we have in this country. Doesn't mean that they're not patriots. Doesn't mean that they don't love their country, because we do. We have great privileges here. But as members of being a U.S. citizen, I also want to call, bring attention to things that need change. And today I kneel. I won't continue to kneel, but I just wanted to kneel to show those guys that I have their back.
So, Reverend, let me start with you. How do you feel about what Mr. Alexander said?
Well, there's a lot of truth in what he says. Let me also state this. I am a retired reservist. I spent 20 years in Niagara Falls Air Force Reserve Station. So I have much respect for the flag. But when we look at what's going on right now, we're talking about social inequality. When the president makes statements like that, to my personal opinion, he has no business making statements like that. He's dividing the country when he should be rallying the country together. He needs to get his priorities in check, because there's a lot of things going on. And with this health care bill that's also on there, he does a lot of cloak and dagger things. He tries to get your attention over here while he passes things over here.
So you feel the president is bringing politics into the NFL where you feel it doesn't necessarily belong?
His comments are unwarranted. Mm-hmm. He should not have made those comments. Now it appears, and let me say this, he's an equal opportunity offender. It appears now that he's talking about those who took the knee, mainly the African-American community. Gotcha. And that's not right. That's not right.
Chris, your reaction to that also. You're also a veteran as well, too. Your reaction.
I am. And, he made the statement that, they're not taking a stand against the country, and they love their country and they respect their country. And if that's true, then show your respect, especially those individuals who gave their life so that you can protest. There's several different ways we can protest today, and we know this. Mm-hmm. Why are we taking it to the field? If you look at the 5 Dallas police officers that were shot and killed, mm-hmm. right? Dallas Cowboys wanted to put something on their helmet to remember them by, and the NFL said no. Then the NFL wanted to, or the teams wanted to put stuff on their helmet as a remembrance to 9/11. The NFL said, no, we're not getting involved in politics. Is this not politics? You're allowing these players to bring politics to the field.
So you think they're picking and choosing?
Absolutely, absolutely. These players want to make a change, they want to make a difference, then take the millions of dollars that you're being paid and go to the inner cities and really show the community you want to make a difference. But bringing it to the field is not going to help.
All right, thank you, Chris. We want to talk or listen now to a quick soundbite from a Buffalo Bills employee, a stadium worker, who decided to quit yesterday because he felt so strongly about what was happening during the anthem. Let's take a listen.
The Buffalo Bills last year would take a knee in the end zone prior to the national anthem. I have no problem with that. But during the national anthem, the song that is about our country, our veterans that fight and die for us, it's just something I don't feel you should disrespect that way.
Reverend, isn't he right that it is our national anthem and people shouldn't be disrespecting it?
Well, people are still being disrespected in all ways and all fashions. African Americans, we still have to have an amendment passed on a regular basis in order for us to be recognized as citizens. Is that right? No, we're Americans. A lot of us were born in this country. So why do those things have to be used against us to where Congress has to every once in a while pass this amendment to make sure that African Americans have the right to be called citizens and also our voting rights? Now, if you want to treat us right, we should not have been treated as slaves in the first place. But because people felt we were inferior, they tried to demean us and malign us by putting us under all of these enactments of slavery to where we couldn't even raise our families. Now, I believe in the American flag, don't get me wrong, but also people have a right to protest. Even when Palladino called the First Lady and President Obama those crazy names, is he put in jail?
Let me ask Chris, because we're talking about really two separate issues. We're talking about racial inequality, historic inequality, and then we're talking about respect for the flag and servicemen and women, and certainly those who've paid the ultimate sacrifice. Do you feel a conflict at all in the fact that these two very important issues have been entangled and there's all this outrage when there may be two separate conversations that should be happening?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I feel it has to be separated. This has nothing to do with football. This has nothing to do with NFL. And Sunday used to be a day of God and religion and practicing your faith. Now the NFL owns it. And we're allowing the NFL to continue this kind of behavior on the field. And yes, I too, being a veteran, I have a right, my personal opinion to how I feel about this. And that is you're disrespecting not only the flag and what this country stands for, you're disrespecting the individuals, the families that are left behind because their loved ones gave their life for you to act this way.
Is the answer to not play the national anthem at any of these sporting events anymore?
How do you both feel about that?
No, I think by doing away with the national anthem, you're allowing them to win. My opinion, you want to take a knee for the national anthem, you stay on that knee for the entire game. You want to talk about unity and supporting the team, you can support your team on your knees at the sidelines and explain to the team and the rest of the stadium why you're not out on the field truly supporting the team.
But what about freedom of well, you have freedom of religion. You also have where you can express yourself. Everybody has that right. Now, the way in which people choose to use that right is their prerogative, as we've seen lately with our president making those statements, calling people out of their name. So if it stands for one, it should stand for all. We should not have two reasons of looking at this. It ought to be one way of looking at this. He caused this to happen. As you look, it was subsiding. Now
it's
what you've done, you brought it back and you instigated this.
Right.
You instigated this. You're causing a lot of disharmony in our country by your thoughts, by your tweets. Even your own cabinet is not representative of the United States as far as ethnicity, as far as individuals who should be making up your cabinet.
The interesting thing, though, too, is that this whole thing with the kneeling began actually under President Barack Obama last year as well, too.
Yes, it did. And then the president also said that, then President Trump, number 45, also said that our President Obama should spend most of his time running the country and trying to put out fires.
Right.
I'm just abbreviating. But if that's the same thing that he said to him, what is he doing now?
Gentlemen, we are out of time, unfortunately, but we appreciate your very civil, very articulate debate and contributions tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And your service also. We had our question here also we wanted to get your answers to. How do the protests change the likelihood that you will attend or watch an NFL football game? I am less likely to watch. 3/4 of you said you are less likely to watch. So thank you for voting.
Keeping in mind, this is an unscientific poll. This is one just done of people who are watching right now, but we thank those of you at home who are chiming in. Well, coming up.